Hi you guys, this is Rachel Kirkland here, the Modern Shaman. Thanks for being with me for another YouTube Q&A video of the week. If you're new to this channel, I am glad you are here. I would love to invite you to my website, which is themodernshaman.net. If you are interested in kind of furthering your spiritual development, your psychic gifts, your shamanic awareness, and native influences with the elementals, I would love to teach you, mentor you, and help you on your path. I also opened up my spiritual entrepreneur program for those that are actively utilizing their gifts and would like to take it to the next level of supporting themselves and offering that as a service to humanity. If you're interested in that, all of that stuff is on the website. Just go to themodernshaman.net. You can either go to teaching, and look up the different programs there. You can also look on my sessions for healing as well as seership in terms of mediumship, past life visions, future probabilities, as well as shamanic ceremonies for soul retrievals and, like I said, past life viewing and visions, chakra balancing healings. There's a ton of resources on the website. This is a wonderful free channel that's just open content. Y'all send in your questions and I just answer them from my heart. So if you do have questions and you want to offer them or ask them for this YouTube channel, go to my website, go to the contact form. It's the last page there on the tabs. And then you can just place the question and kind of state that it is a question for YouTube. My assistant will put that in a folder and I will get it and it will go in the queue for these videos. And at one point, I will read your question and answer it here on the channel. All right, let's get down to business. The question for this week. It says, Rachel, thank you so much for your channel. It means the world to me. I look forward to your videos every week and always find something that speaks to me. Thank you. It says, when we choose a physical life, do we know the challenges we will face? And do we choose for that reason? Or do the challenges pop up as a surprise? This is kind of a question about free will, but also about karma and why we choose the life we choose. So this is a beautiful question. It's always interesting. I have to preface this. It's always interesting when we ask questions about decisions that we make when we are non-physical in form. Because when we are making those decisions outside of our human experience, it's not a human decision. It's not the same thought process that we would make in our cognitive development using a brain. And so it's a little bit trippy and a mind stretch for us to answer questions like this. Now, I will do it because you know me. I'll answer what you ask, but I have to preface it by saying it's not a human decision. And so the process that we go through, even though I will explain it linearly to you now, it's not a linear process. And so it's outside of our experience in the way that we know how to make decisions. All right, so try to just kind of sit in that, in the awareness of your being. And if you've ever had a meditation where you have experienced that presence, that beyondness, or the isness of your being, this is beyond question and answer, yes or no, decisions. It's just a state of supreme energetic resonance, of presence. And so this is the state, right, of our non-physical spirit. And even though we may engage in decision making, it doesn't feel like our decisions here. I'm trying to language that as best as I can. It's just paradoxical, you know what I mean? That's just how it is. The higher and higher you get when we talk about the space of the non-physical. It's multidimensional. It is paradoxical. It's just beyond what our human experience is. So it's a little bit ineffable, like unexplainable in words that I can't quite place in our human understanding. But I will say, when you make that decision, are you aware of the hardships that you will experience in this life? Yes. Okay, because you are awareness in itself. You are aware of all probabilities that exist. You are in that divine intelligence state of your spirit, beyond form. And so there is an awareness that is prevalent, as if you're swimming in a sea of infinite intelligence. There is all awareness of probabilities that exist for you, of past lives and future probabilities, of tangent universes, of the opportunities of expression and existence and creation. All of that is known to you. So in a way, when you ask the question, am I aware of these hardships or what I will experience in life? Yes, all that can be known, that is desired to be known in your space of infinite intelligence, of divine being, in your spiritual self, that is available to you. Yes. Now, the thing is that they are not, these hardships, as you referred to them, they're not seen through human eyes. So what we deem as bad or good or hardship or something thriving in life and seemingly, extravagant and this great life that we would view, it's not viewed through a human perspective. And so when you are non-physical in form, before you incarnate here, it's not even seen like a hardship. It's not seen that way. It's seen in its essence, in its truth, in the experience. And so there's no judgment on the experience as there would be from human eyes in the way that we may judge a hardship or a lesson or karma. It's seen from that spiritual experience of understanding. And so you understand the why, you understand the much bigger picture of how the puzzle is laying out in each piece. And so there's so much wisdom that it's not really viewed like a hardship in the way that we would view and make those decisions. Like, we express things so linearly. Even the idea of karma, of like, I did something bad in the past and then something good needs to balance it out, or this negative and positive, this yin and yang. This is such a human experience on this earth, in a human form that's very binary in our experience. And so when we go beyond that, we don't view it the same. And so our decision making doesn't even view those elements of life as hardships. It doesn't even view them in that same perspective. We have so much more awareness. And so the wisdom of why we're choosing what we're choosing, the intelligence behind it, the way that it's going to impact all of creation, all of the different elements that we're a part of in that divine cosmic web, how everyone is connected through that sense of string theory and all of the vibrational harmonies that play out from each decision and hardship and lesson that we're learning, and how that impacts the greater good, the harmony of all the collectives that we are a part of as a human. As Rachel, I'm a part of a female collective. I'm a part of my family nuclear collective. I'm a part of my genetic collective. I'm a part of different groups that I, am attracted to or interested in as hobbies. There are so many different ways that I am connected, and that my decisions, be it infinitesimally small or gargantuanly huge, they still impact the rest of those that I'm connected to. And we're aware of that from the non-physical perspective. And so when we make these decisions, it feels very different. It comes from such an intelligent perspective. So you have to take that into consideration, that it's not made from that human perspective. The second thing I want to say about this comes to that end of your question where you say, do these challenges come up as a surprise? when you are aware of all probabilities that exist, when you're in that state of being and presence and awareness, you are aware that there will be elements that feel like the experience of surprise when you take on form and essentially come into the expression of time. Because when we take on a human form, when we take on a human incarnation, we incarnate into an experience on this earth of time. Now, time is changing as we're seeing a lot of these indigo kids and ADD and these the different ways that they're being titled, but essentially a lot of autism, a lot of these rise in the multidimensional people or expression of spirit into human form, where time is very malleable. And you'll know this if you've ever had, if you ever know anybody with ADD or even with on the autism spectrum, or a lot of these what we're titling issues within our behavioral elements of humankind. They are simply different malleable awarenesses of time. And so time is shifting in our human form. But that being said, when you take on a form, you are aware that there will be the experience that time creates, which is feelings of surprise, feelings of shock, feeling of linearity, going through something and not expecting, what may happen or what may show up for you. These are the experiences of betrayal, the experiences of death or shock or something traumatic. All of these experiences that may be quote unquote deemed as surprises are because we came into the experience of time. So they do pop up because you are experiencing it through linearity, right? And you are aware of that when you make the decision to become a human. But like I said earlier, you're experiencing it, or you're making that decision from a perspective that's very non-human. It's spirit-based. And so your understanding and your grace and your acceptance and your wisdom of the divine intelligence behind why those things are important and how they impact all the collectives that you are a part of has so much more decision-making prowess. Like, it has power and it has importance to you. Whereas here in this human experience, in a very 3D or linear path, we don't give as much importance or credit to how our decisions or how our life or how these things of surprise impact and change the dynamics of all those others that we're connected to. Whereas from the spiritual perspective, we see that and we make our decisions much more from a collective oneness state of being than from the singular individual experience. And so that individuation of our personality takes a lesser, I would say, I don't know, it takes a lesser meaning for us than the oneness or the unity perspective of why we choose what we choose. Even that is hard to put in our mind. We can't really understand that as living in this life. How could you make that decision from the unity perspective, but you have to live it out through the individual experience. But that's the way it goes. There's the paradox again for you when it comes to spirit as a multidimensional being living a very individuated experience. But we share that. And if you can allow those two spaces to exist within you, that multidimensionality as well as the unique individuality, then you can have a sense of balance with it. You can have a sense of peace and grace in knowing that your life, yes, was aware and in a way predestined, and at the same time holds all free will of choice. This is that state of balance of being the multidimensional being and at the same time having an individual expression in this life. This is the beautiful and delicate grace in which we experience humanity as a spirit and a soul. I hope that answers your question. I will sign off for the day. I will be back here next week with another YouTube video.